Hey, Jared, what's that? You hear that sound?
Yeah,
Do you hear that sound?
I think I do.
It's preseason coming to an end, the regular season approaching, the last of the fantasy drafts going down, and of course we know this year it's going to be my team, Shattered Dreams, going.
He's on drugs.
So, all kidding aside, this is a preseason episode.
Yeah, because this team isn't shit.
Because we're not quite in the regular season yet.
Not yet.
But we had... Should I start off with the unfortunate injury news?
Oh my god.
Is that a good place to start?
That's the greatest place to
Lamar Miller, of course, we know the Houston Texans had a blowout loss in preseason to the Dallas Cowboys getting shut out. We don't even need to analyze that one. But Lamar Miller now has a torn ACL and MCL and is out for the year. De facto starting running back for the Texans now gone, but I actually think his injury, oddly enough, might help them.
How?
I mean, you look at the fact that they just traded for Duke Johnson, who now is going to step into a workhorse role. He will be complemented by Demaria Crockett, the rookie running back that's, you know, a nice size-speed combo, kind of grinder-type running back, and to take away some of those up-the-middle runs that would otherwise maybe be a little damaging to Duke, and allow Duke to do his thing. I think it's going to be a good combo for them. I think Lamar Miller, I hate to speak ill of the recently injured, but he's always been a mediocre back.
Yeah.
There's always something to be desired there, right? I mean,
there's always that missing piece.
So I thought that Miller, if he didn't get hurt this year, was destined to lose the starting job at some point anyway to Duke Johnson, but this kind of just opens the door right out of the gate. Now, Bill O'Brien, the Texans head coach, said, you know, he likes the way his running backs are still looking after the injury. He, of course, said you never want to lose a player like Lamar Miller, yada, 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 but they're good. I think they're still good. What do you think?
I think they're still going to be very valid. They have a lot of other offensive weapons as well, but yeah, I don't see this hurting them as much after you explained it.
I mean, let's face it, it's not like you're losing to Pat Mahomes.
No, not at all. Who's my... Never mind.
So
no spoilers.
I mean, that's pretty much that. I before we move on from the Texans, though, I will say, and it pains me to bring up my bad takes, but we all know I called Deshaun Watson a bust when he got drafted.
Who doesn't forget that article? Who hasn't forgotten that article?
Gonna live that down as one of my worst takes ever with NFL, but
oh my God.
I will say that I have gone to the point where I'm no longer going to have take lock on this. I'm just going to say that this season, Deshaun Watson has potential to finish with the best numbers out of all the quarterbacks. I think if you look at the fact that the Texans are going to be in a lot more closer games, tougher schedule this year, but it's going to keep them closer. You know, last year they played a lot of backup quarterbacks, a lot of rookie quarterbacks. I think the Texans are going to have a lot of competitive games in their schedule. I think that's going to keep the scores close. And with Deshaun Watson throwing and running.
You know, I agree. I definitely think it's going to be his breakout season. But another guy I would like to talk about, another quarterback who's going to have a great fantasy season, Taysom Hill. Just kidding. Lamar Jackson. I think this is Lamar's year. I mean, we only saw, 7-8 games from Lamar Jackson last season, and we saw what he can do fantasy-wise. He was actually one of the top fantasy earners, simply out the fact his rushing abilities are second to none. Now, this year, you hear that the Harbaugh has changed up the offense with the Ravens to center virtually around. We have a couple of speedy receivers in Marquise Brown. We have Willie Snead. We also have Miles Boykin, who, if his regular season is anything like his preseason, we'll be hearing about his name for a long time. Not to mention Mark Andrews and one of the best tight end cores. All those weapons built for Lamar Jackson to succeed. Not to mention the backfield that they have getting Mark Ingram in the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most interesting thing about Lamar Jackson this year is how much is he going to run the football? Yeah. Will it be anything close to last year? Are they going to completely rely on that? Or is he going to open it up more with the passing game?
Well, like I said, if preseason's any indicator of what they're planning to do. One thing I saw, and again, this could also be for the simple fact you don't want to injure your star quarterback, there was a lot of passing from the pocket, lining up his shotgun, and just throwing. And he was semi-successful, I'm not even going to lie. So I'm interested to see how much of that, takes over the game. Maybe if they're 70% more pass, 70% passing, 30% running, or however much, maybe like 60-40 mix. I'm interested to see how that's going to go, actually.
Well, there's another quarterback that I think is going to have an interesting season, and it kind of ties into our next topic, which is Andrew Luck unexpectedly announcing his retirement. What's your initial reaction to that?
Mind blown, and I was really puzzled why at first. And as I did, I kept reading articles about it, being on Twitter. One thing I took from was like, this is actually a really great move for him. If your head's not in the sport, why keep doing your body so much harm when you're worth what? Net worth of like $98 million. He has a degree from Stanford. This kid isn't going to suffer, So, I mean, him retiring and walking away with your health and, you hear about guys all the time. Like, look at LaRon McClain, the Ravens' old fullback, who's like on Twitter having these wild, crazy mental breakdowns because his brain's all screwed up. So him, Luck taking his money and rolling and just saying, hey, I played football long enough, I'm done. I respect that.
But that goes to my take on this, which is he really done?
There's that rumor as well. So,
I mean, because here's the thing. We're already starting to hear. So Gronkowski and Andrew Luck are both 29 years old, and oddly enough, I think both have a chance of coming out of retirement at some point.
So there's crazy rumors, actually, and I know you probably have one, and I might even steal it from you. And this is the crazy rumor online that I've been seeing pop up of Andrew Luck joining the XFL. I heard this one. Apparently, like, his dad is one of the executives in the XFL. I don't know. It sounds like a freaking rumor, but it was like, the XFL, really?
That sounds like a
I'm
conspiracy
calling bullshit
theory.
on that one.
I'm not, yeah.
But that was one of the crazy rumors. Now, I feel like you have one that I was thinking about.
Well,
earlier.
my whole take on it is, like, I think he retired because he was looking at the fact that, like, he's, he keeps getting hurt. The Colts organization, you have to remember, they drafted Philip Dorsett in the first round when they could have got him, like, a better pass protector. Like, they really didn't do him justice. They didn't really protect their franchise quarterback. Up until recently, they made better decisions with that. But it's a little too late now, and he's been in this situation where he keeps getting pressured to, like, come back from his injuries. And I think this was just his opportunity to step away, give himself time to completely recover, and then maybe he comes back this season, maybe next season, maybe the season after. I think this is the new move for players, to just announce your retirement and come back when you're ready.
Yeah, I mean, it's genius. You're literally resting on your own terms. In football, it's like, all right, doctor says you have 8 to 12 weeks. Well, 8 to 12 weeks, yeah, maybe I might be okay, but I might not be fully there, at least mentally. Give me my time. I want to do what I want to do. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's my take. I think Andrew Luck, at some point, I think he's too competitive of a guy to just call it quits at 29. I think he's coming back at some point. And I think Gronkowski might come back at some point because now the Patriots are, like, begging him to come back. They're like, we got no tight ends right now.
Why didn't you draft?
So we'll see what happens with those guys. But they're both 29. Yeah. That's young enough to monitor for a comeback.
Yeah, I don't. Gronkowski, I don't know. I mean, just Gronkowski's taking too many hits. I just don't see him maybe coming back. I actually heard a report that he said he wasn't, but who knows. But Andrew Luck coming back is definitely plausible. But here's my question: where does he go? Who's his new team if he comes back?
I mean, I'm not sure the way. Like, if you retire,
how does it work?
Doesn't your former team, like, still have the rights? Like, when you have
really?
The Colts?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
I think that's how it works, unless, like, they just allow another team to have him.
I guess, because I thought, like, if you retired, like, you're virtually like, okay, you're off the books. You come back, you're a free agent. But I guess if anybody wanted to leave any team, they could do that. Just take a year off. Oh, yeah.
Well, when Lynch came out, like, wasn't it like the Seahawks, like, let him go to the Raiders, but, like, they could have not done that.
I think so.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Whatever. Yeah.
But the one last thing I want to talk about on this is, like, assuming Andrew Luck really is retired and he's done for the year, like, you got Jacoby Brissett stepping in the starting role at age 26, and it's like,
another Belichick product.
I don't think people realize, like, how sneaky of a good year Jacoby Brissett might have in this offense.
it could be something worth watching, especially on fantasy teams. Maybe getting them as like a, if you have 2 quarterbacks or, you know, you have enough room on your bench, maybe picking them up.
Yeah, I mean, I think make a great backup quarterback in fantasy. I think that people are just assuming that without Andrew Luck, this Colts offense is going to look like a turd. Yeah. But it's like, dude, like, you think Brissett's really that bad? Really? Yeah. I mean, he's a mobile guy. He's a veteran now. He's got a better offensive line. I think T.Y. Hilton is going to still do fine. I think some of those other skill positions might do a little worse. But hey, I think the Colts offense is going to be okay. They're going to be okay. Again, I don't think they're a playoff team, but I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be competitive still. They just won't make the playoffs.
Yeah, but I mean, it's something to look forward to. I guess it's safe to say the Colts are definitely looking for a quarterback early in the draft, depending on how Brissett does. Because if Brissett turns out to be valuable, depending on who's in the draft. Yeah.
I mean, I think what they really need to do at this point is rebuild their defense more than anything. Think about how long that Colts defense has been like a shitty or mediocre defense. When's the last time the Colts had a good elite defense?
I couldn't even tell you.
Like never.
Ever. I don't know. Indianapolis, how does it feel to have something just snatched away from you in the middle of the night? You just hate to see that. But that does it for our show. Big shout out actually to 3 years of LitTube. We celebrate that August 29th. 3 years. 3 years. Wow, I can't believe it. Time flies when you're having fun. We do have a big announcement coming. Pay attention all over our pages for it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Got a lot of stuff coming in here for us. So thank you so much for all the support. We're going to continue keeping this train rolling. Take care.